She texted, "We are pregnant." Then I saw her best friend's post congratulating her and another man. I replied, "Who exactly is we?" Then I sent a "congratulations on your new responsibility" gift basket to the other guy's office, and the drama exploded. I 29 male got a text from my girlfriend Natalie, 27 3 days ago, that should have been the happiest moment of my life. We've been together for 4 years, living together for 2. Been talking about marriage, kids, the whole future thing. The text came at 2:47 p.m. while I was in a meeting. "Babe, we are pregnant. Can't wait to tell you everything tonight." My heart stopped. Happy tears almost started right there in the conference room. Managed to text back, "OMG. This is incredible. I love you so much. Can't wait to celebrate tonight." Spent the rest of the day floating. Told my assistant I'd be leaving early. Stopped by the fancy wine shop to get sparkling grape juice, the expensive stuff. Hit up the florist for 24 roses. Even grabbed a tiny pair of baby shoes from the boutique next door because I couldn't help myself. Got home at 5:30. Natalie wasn't there yet. Started setting up, candles, flowers, the works. While waiting, did what any excited almost dad would do. Opened Instagram to see if she'd posted anything. She hadn't, but her best friend Rochelle had. The post was from 2 hours ago. A picture of Natalie with some guy I recognized, Garrett, from her CrossFit gym. She's holding up a pregnancy test. He's got his hand on her stomach, both grinning like idiots. Caption, "So beyond happy for these two. Secret's finally out. Baby Morrison coming next summer." At Natalie B. Garrett Strong 24, "You guys are going to be amazing parents. Love you both. Baby Morrison." Garrett's last name is Morrison. I sat there staring at my phone for probably 10 minutes. Read it over and over. Checked the tagged profiles to make sure it was really them. It was. The tiny baby shoes were still sitting on the counter. Texted Natalie, "Hey, quick question. Who exactly is we in We Are Pregnant?" Read at 5:52 p.m. No response. She came home at 6:15, saw the whole setup, and her face went white. Not the happy surprise I'd planned for. "You saw Rochelle's post?" Not a question. "Yeah." She started crying, but not sorry tears. Angry tears. "She wasn't supposed to post that yet. I was going to tell you the right way." "The right way? To tell me my girlfriend is pregnant with another man's baby?" "How long?" was all I managed. It's complicated." "How long?" 3 months. But I was going to end it. I swear, it just happened. 3 months. We'd been planning our vacation to Spain during those 3 months. She'd been telling me she loved me every night for 3 months while screwing Garrett at the gym. I asked her to leave. She refused. Said it was her apartment too. "It's not. Lease is in my name. She just pays me half the rent." Said we need to talk about this like adults. "Fine, let's be adults." "Are you keeping it?" "Yes." "Does Garrett know?" "Yes." He's excited." "Are you leaving me for him?" This is where it got interesting. "No, I love you. This was just a mistake. He's not you. You're the one I want to build a life with." I laughed. "Couldn't help it, but you're having his baby. We can make this work. Plenty of blended families exist. You'd be such a good stepdad." Stepdad? To the baby she conceived while cheating on me. That she announced to me as "We are pregnant." I told her to pack a bag and stay with Rochelle. She cried harder, but eventually left. Kept texting me all night about how I was overreacting, how modern families come in all shapes, how love conquers all. Blocked her at midnight. Yesterday I did something petty, maybe stupid. Definitely satisfying. Found Garrett's LinkedIn. Works at some tech startup. One of those we're a family places with bean bags and craft beer on tap. Sent them a congratulations gift basket. The big one. Balloons, chocolates, the works. Card read, "Congratulations on your upcoming fatherhood, Garrett. So exciting that you and Natalie are expecting. Wishing you both all the best as you start your family together. Take care of her. She's going to need all the support she can get." The ex-boyfriend. Had it delivered this morning. My phone has been blowing up since lunch. Apparently Garrett hadn't told anyone at work yet. Also apparently he has a girlfriend. Had. Past tense. Natalie's been calling from Rochelle's phone. Left a voicemail screaming about how I've ruined everything and destroyed an innocent man's life. Innocent? He knew about me. Her Instagram is full of our photos. She's coming by tomorrow to get her stuff. This should be fun. We'll update after the confrontation. Still processing that she really thought I'd raise another man's baby while she played house with both of us. Update 1, holy hell, the entitlement is off the charts. So Natalie came to get her stuff yesterday, but not alone. She brought a whole crew, Rochelle, her mother Sandra, and, plot twist, Garrett. They showed up at 10 a.m. I'd already packed her things, everything in labeled boxes by the door. Was planning a quick handoff. Instead, got a full intervention. Sandra started immediately. Now, sweetie, I know you're hurt, but throwing away 4 years over a little mistake? That's not the man I know. A little mistake. Getting pregnant by another man is a little mistake. I stayed calm. Sandra, she can take her boxes and go. This isn't a discussion. That's when Garrett stepped forward. This walking CrossFit cliché in his gym branded everything. Bro, we need to talk man to man. Bro? Really? Actually, we don't. Take the boxes. Leave. Look, I get it. You're pissed. But Nat and it wasn't serious. Just physical. She loves you, dude. I'm not trying to take your girl. You already did, plus put a baby in her. Congratulations, by the way. How'd your girlfriend take the news? His face got red. That was messed up, man. She left me, lost my job too. They said the drama was disruptive to company culture. Wait, he lost his job? You sent that basket to my workplace. HR got involved, said I'd been inappropriate with the receptionist who signed for it because she was asking questions. I almost laughed. So you were inappropriate with multiple women at work? That's not, you twisted everything. Natalie jumped in. See what you did? You didn't just hurt me. You hurt Garrett. He's unemployed now. He needs this job for the baby. Good thing that's not my problem anymore. Sandra's turn. How can you be so heartless? My daughter made one mistake. She came to you with joy about becoming a mother and you threw her out. She came to me pretending I was the father. That's not joy, that's manipulation. Rochelle, who'd been quiet, finally spoke. She was going to tell you the truth eventually. She just wanted to see if you'd step up first. Test. It was a test. She wanted to see if I'd step up to raise another man's child without knowing it. To see if you really loved her unconditionally. The apartment hallway wasn't the place for this. I started moving boxes out. They kept talking. Natalie grabbed my arm. Please. I'll do anything. Counseling, therapy, whatever you need. Just don't throw us away. Us? Me and you. What we have. We don't have anything. You made sure of that when you spent 3 months with Garrett. It was just sex. You're the one I want to marry. Garrett made a sound. Apparently he didn't know about the marriage part. You told me you loved me, he said to Natalie. I do, but differently. You're my passion. He's my stability. Stability. I'm stability. Like a savings account or a good insurance policy. Sandra tried again. Think about the baby. It needs a stable home. 2 incomes. You make good money, sweetie. Garrett's between jobs. Natalie's part-time at the boutique doesn't cover much. You could provide. Stop. Are you seriously asking me to financially support Natalie and Garrett's baby? Not support. Just help. Until Garrett finds work, for the baby's sake. The audacity. They wanted me to bankroll their love child. No, you're being selfish, Natalie screamed. I gave you 4 years, 4 years, and you're throwing me out over one mistake? While I'm pregnant? You're not homeless. You have Garrett. Oh wait, he's unemployed. You have your mom, Rochelle. Figure it out. More yelling. Neighbors started peeking out. I kept loading boxes, finally got everything out. Natalie was sobbing. Garrett looked uncomfortable. Sandra was calling me names I won't repeat. Rochelle was filming everything for some reason. As they were leaving, Natalie turned back. You'll regret this. When you're alone and I have a beautiful family, you'll see what you threw away. I threw away nothing. You threw away everything. Good luck. Last night, got a text from an unknown number. Garrett. Hey man, weird situation, but can I ask you something? Did she ever cheat before? Just wondering what I'm getting into here. I didn't respond, but the fact that he's already questioning her tells me everything. This morning, woke up to 47 Facebook notifications. Rochelle posted her video. Edited, of course. Shows me being cold and heartless to a pregnant woman. Cut out all context. The comments are wild. Half calling me trash, half asking what the full story is. I haven't responded, but I did make one post, a screenshot of Rochelle's original congratulations post about baby Morrison. Tagged everyone who commented on her video. The tide turned pretty quick after that. Going to look at changing my locks today. Feel like this isn't over. Update 2. Called it. It wasn't over. The Facebook drama died down after people realized Natalie was pregnant by another man. Even her supporters couldn't spin that. But the real-world drama? That escalated. First, the financial harassment started. Texts from Natalie about our bills. Apparently, she'd been putting her car insurance, phone bill, and credit card payments on autopay from my account for 2 years. Never noticed, because it all came out the same day as utilities and rent. Canceled everything immediately. Total? $473 a month I'd been covering without realizing. She flipped. Showed up at my apartment Wednesday night, banging on the door. My phone got shut off. My insurance lapsed. What did you do? Stop paying your bills. We're not together anymore, remember? You can't just cut me off without warning. I'm pregnant. With Garrett's baby. He can pay your bills. He doesn't have a job because of you. The entitlement was staggering. I was somehow responsible for her cheating, her pregnancy, her bills, her affair partner's unemployment. Told her to leave or I'd call the cops. She left, but not before screaming that I'd see what happens when you mess with a pregnant woman. Thursday, I found out what that meant. Got called into HR at work. Someone had sent an anonymous email claiming I was harassing a pregnant former partner and creating a hostile work environment by spreading revenge porn. The revenge porn? Rochelle's own Instagram post that I screenshotted. Luckily, my HR rep Janet is competent. I showed her everything. The "we're pregnant" text, Rochelle's post, the timeline. She actually laughed when she realized the harassment was me not paying my ex's bills. Let me guess, she said. She's trying to get you fired so she can claim you owe her support? Bingo. HR closed the complaint. Janet suggested I document everything. Already was, but started being more thorough. Friday was quiet. Too quiet. Saturday morning, I understood why. Woke up to my car covered in shaving cream. Nasty messages written all over. Deadbeat, abandoner, real men step up, building has cameras, pulled the footage with security. Clear as day, Rochelle and 2 other women I didn't recognize. At 3 a.m., in hoodies but faces visible when they looked up to check for cameras. Called the cops, filed a report. Damages were minor, just needed a car wash, but I wanted documentation. The officer taking the report looked tired. Ex-girlfriend drama? She's pregnant with another man's baby and mad I won't support them. He actually double-taked. Come again? Explained the situation. He shook his head. In 20 years, I've never heard that one. While he was writing up the report, my phone rang. Sandra, you called the police? On pregnant Natalie's friends? On vandals who damaged my property. Being friends with a pregnant woman doesn't make you immune to laws. They were just expressing frustration. You've made my daughter's life impossible. Garrett made her life complicated. She made it impossible. Garrett can't even help. You got him fired. Garrett got himself fired. I just sent a congratulations basket. To his workplace. Where else would I send it? I don't have his home address. She hung up on me. Sunday, yesterday was the peak. I was at the grocery store when I ran into Natalie, visibly pregnant now, with Garrett, shopping. Tried to avoid them but she saw me. Came right over, Garrett trailing behind looking uncomfortable. This is what you're forcing me to do, she hissed. Shop at discount stores because I can't afford anything else. It was a regular grocery store, not even a discount one. Natalie, please leave me alone. Look at me. Look. I'm pregnant and shopping for generic brands because you abandoned me. People were staring. I stayed calm. You're pregnant by him, pointing at Garrett, who you chose. I didn't abandon anyone. You promised to love me forever, and you promised to be faithful. Guess we both lied. Garrett finally spoke. Dude, can't you just help out a little? For old time's sake? Old time's sake? The audacity. Are you seriously asking me to pay for your baby? Not pay for, just help. Like maybe rehire me at your company? I don't own a company, I'm a senior analyst. But you have connections, you could get me hired. They wanted me to, 1, pay Natalie's bills. 2, get Garrett a job. 3, presumably support their baby 4B. The entitlement was breathtaking. No, to all of it, stop contacting me. Started walking away. Natalie followed, crying loudly. Full performance. How can you be so cruel? I loved you. An older woman shopping nearby piped up. Honey, are you okay? Is this man bothering you? Natalie saw her chance. He abandoned me while pregnant. I turned to the woman. She's pregnant by that man, pointing at Garrett. She cheated. I left. Now they want money. The woman looked at Natalie, at Garrett, at me. Then said to Natalie, "Sweetheart, you made your bed. Let the man shop in peace." Natalie's face was priceless. Left the store without finishing my shopping. Went to a different one across town. Last night got a long email from Natalie. Highlights: I'm emotionally abusive for not supporting her. I'm financially manipulating her by canceling bills. I'm ruining an innocent child's life. She's considering legal options. If I come to my senses, she's willing to forgive. She's willing to forgive me. Forwarded it all to my lawyer friend Marcus. His response: "LOL. She has no case. Keep documenting. Maybe consider a restraining order if this escalates." This morning, woke up to a text from my mom. Natalie had somehow gotten her number and called her. Tried to get my mother on her side. Mom's response to her: "You cheated on my son and got pregnant by another man. What exactly do you want me to say to him?" Apparently Natalie hung up crying. Mom to me: "I never liked her anyway. Too much vocal fry." So that's where we are. My ex is pregnant by her affair partner. They both want me to fund their life, and they're escalating because I won't. Next step is probably the restraining order. We'll update if anything else happens. But honestly, every time they pull something, I'm more convinced I dodged a bullet. Imagine if I'd married her before finding out who she really was. Final update. This is likely my last update because I'm done with this circus and taking legal steps to ensure it stays that way. After my last post, things went quiet for about a week. Should have known it was the calm before the storm. The first sign of trouble was a letter from a lawyer. Not a good lawyer, the kind that advertises on bus benches. Natalie was exploring her options regarding financial support given the length of relationship and established precedent of fiscal responsibility. Basically, she wanted palimony in a state that doesn't recognize palimony. Marcus laughed for 5 solid minutes when I showed him. Sent back a formal £1 letter with legal precedents showing she had 0 case. That's when the real crazy started. Natalie and Garrett showed up at my workplace, inside the building. Somehow talked their way past security. I was coming back from lunch and there they were in the lobby. Natalie crying loudly about being abandoned while pregnant to anyone who'd listen. Security was already moving toward them when I arrived. I just pointed and said, "Those two are trespassing. Please remove them." The scene Natalie made while being escorted out was Oscar-worthy. Garrett tried to slip me an envelope during the chaos. Security took it instead. It was a payment plan for me to contribute to prenatal care. They wanted $500 a month for another man's baby. My company's head of security, Mike, pulled me aside after. "Get a restraining order. Now, this won't stop." He was right. That night, around 11 p.m., my doorbell camera started going nuts. Garrett was there, clearly drunk, yelling about man stuff and stepping up and how I needed to take responsibility for another man's baby. I called the cops. He was gone before they arrived, but I had the footage, added it to my restraining order file. The next day, got a call from my landlord. Someone had called claiming I was running a drug operation out of my apartment. Anonymous tip, of course. Landlord knew it was BS but had to check. I showed him my documentation folder. He actually gave me a discount on next month's rent for the entertainment value. Then came the social media nuclear option. Natalie started a TikTok series, dating while pregnant, abandoned single mom. She never mentioned Garrett was the father. Implied I was. Talked about how her ex left when she announced the pregnancy and how some men can't handle responsibility. The comments were brutal. Hundreds of people calling me unnamed but clearly implied trash. Some eagle-eyed viewers noticed Garrett in the background of one video and started asking questions. She deleted those comments. One comment she couldn't delete was from Garrett's ex-girlfriend, Ashley. "Girl, you got pregnant by my boyfriend while you both had partners. Stop playing victim." The video went differently after that. But the final straw came last Monday. I got home to find an envelope under my door. Inside were ultrasound photos and a note. "Your last chance to be part of something beautiful. Don't let pride ruin 3 lives. N. 3 lives. Her, Garrett, and baby. Not mine." That's when I knew this would never stop. They genuinely believed I should fund their family. Tuesday morning, filed for a restraining order. Had enough documentation to wallpaper my apartment. Judge granted it immediately. Both Natalie and Garrett are prohibited from contacting me directly or indirectly, coming near my home or workplace. Wednesday they were served. Thursday, Rochelle texted from a new number. "You got them arrested? Natalie is pregnant." They weren't arrested, they were served papers, but apparently Natalie had a meltdown so severe when served that someone called 911. Paramedics came, she refused transport, made another scene. Friday, Sandra left me a voicemail. "I hope you're happy. My daughter is on bed rest from the stress you caused. That baby's health is on your conscience. The baby I didn't conceive. With the woman who cheated, that's on my conscience. Yesterday ran into a mutual friend, Derek. He looked exhausted. Dude, I'm sorry about all of it. Just wanted you to know, not everyone believes her story. Thanks. How bad is it?" "Bad. She's telling everyone you manipulated her into getting pregnant, then abandoned her when she needed you most. Garrett's backing her up, but he's also been on Tinder. My roommate matched with him. His bio says complicated situation but ready for something real." So Garrett's already shopping for replacement support while Natalie thinks they're building a family. Today I'm done. Restraining order is in place. Changed my phone number, deleted all social media, told HR about the order so they know to refuse any entry attempts. The entitlement never stopped. Right until the end, they genuinely believed I should. Pay for another man's baby. Support the woman who cheated on me. Fund the life of the man she cheated with. Do it all with a smile. The most insane part? They really thought I would. That's the level of delusion we're dealing with. To everyone asking why I sent the basket to Garrett's work, I don't regret it. He knew about me. He made his choices. He faced consequences. That's life. Some called me petty. Maybe. But I'd rather be petty than be a doormat raising another man's kid while being lied to. Natalie wanted to have her cake and eat it too. Keep me as the stable provider while having her passion with Garrett. When that exploded, she tried to guilt, manipulate, and harass me into compliance. She learned that actions have consequences. Garrett learned that affairs have costs. They both learned I'm not a savings account with legs. I'm moving on. Dating isn't on my radar yet, but I'm in therapy working through the betrayal. Started a new hobby, woodworking, got a promotion at work. Turns out documenting everything made me look incredibly organized to leadership, and honestly, I'm happier than I've been in years. Sometimes the best revenge isn't elaborate schemes. It's just refusing to be anyone's plan B, safety net, or wallet. Natalie's baby is due in 3 months. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Garrett's problem now. Though based on his Tinder profile, she might be a single mom after all. That's karma, not revenge. And it's not my problem. Peace out. Thanks for following this insane journey. I came home, found my mother-in-law in my bedroom. She said, "This is my house now." I called a locksmith. Changed everything. My wife picked her side and regretted it. I'm 34, male, a logistics manager, which is a fancy way of saying I spend my life making sure things move from point A to point B in an orderly fashion. I like systems, I like predictability. It's why I bought my house 7 years ago, a full 3 years before I met my wife, Brenda, too. It was my anchor, my one non-negotiable piece of order in a chaotic world. My name is on the deed. My money paid the down payment. My name is on the mortgage. This is a critical detail. Brenda's mother, Shirley, 62, has always been the antithesis of order. She's a force of nature, but not a pleasant one. More like a hurricane you're forced to board up the windows for every few months. For the 4 years Brenda and I were married, I saw the pattern. Shirley manufactured crises. There was the time she accidentally double-booked a vacation and needed me to pay for a last-minute flight. The time she co-signed on a car for a friend who defaulted, and Brenda drained our savings to stop her from being sued. Each time I'd try to establish a boundary, and each time Brenda, her face etched with anxiety, would plead with me. "She'll fall apart if we don't help, Jonathan. It's just this once." It was never just once. 2 months ago, Shirley's landlord decided to sell her apartment. She had 60 days to move. Immediately, the campaign began. "I have nowhere to go," she'd weep to Brenda over the phone. "My own daughter is going to let me be homeless." I knew what was coming. A week later, Brenda sat me down. "We need to let her stay with us, just for a little while." I took a deep breath. This was it, the line in the sand. "No, Brenda," I said as gently but as firmly as I could. "We are not doing that. Your mother is a guest for an afternoon, not a roommate. It would destroy our marriage, and you know it." I then laid out a counteroffer. I would personally pay the deposit and first month's rent on a new apartment for her. I would even hire movers. It was a generous offer, a final offer. Brenda cried, but she eventually nodded. She said she understood. She said she would tell her mother. For the next few weeks, things were quiet. I thought the problem was solved. I was a fool. Last week, I had a mandatory 3-day work trip. I kissed Brenda goodbye on Tuesday morning. I finished my work ahead of schedule and, feeling a surge of relief, caught an earlier flight home on Thursday. I landed around noon, planning to surprise Brenda with lunch at her favorite spot. The moment I opened my front door, I knew. The air was thick with a foreign floral perfume she wore. A stack of battered U-Haul boxes, scrawled with "Shirley's Kitchen," stood sentinel in my hallway. My stomach turned to ice. I walked into the living room. Her gaudy, overstuffed armchair was crammed next to my sofa, and on my bookshelf, where I kept my collection of vintage sci-fi paperbacks, sat her army of porcelain dolls, their dead glass eyes judging me. My heart was a cold, heavy drum against my ribs as I went upstairs. The door to our bedroom, my bedroom, was wide open. Inside, 2 movers were struggling with a monstrously ornate headboard, and directing them, with the imperious wave of a hand, was Shirley. My bed, the one Brenda and I shared, was disassembled and propped against the far wall like an afterthought. She saw me and a slow, triumphant smile spread across her face. It was the smile of someone who had just checkmated an opponent who didn't even know they were playing a game. "Jonathan, you're home early," she said. Her tone was benign, but her eyes were glinting. "Shirley," I said, my voice dangerously low. "What is this? Where's Brenda?" "Picking up lunch for us," she said, turning back to the movers. "She won't be long. Now boys, let's get this centered. It needs to be the focal point of the room." The movers exchanged an uncomfortable glance. I stepped fully into the room. "Stop," I said to them. They froze. I turned to Shirley. "What are you doing in my bedroom?" She let out a theatrical sigh, the kind designed to paint me as an unhinged brute. "Jonathan, please don't make a scene. We can discuss this when Brenda is here." She agreed this was for the best. "The best? The best was the apartment I offered to rent for you. This is a home invasion." That's when she dropped the pretense. She stepped closer, her voice a low hiss. "Let me be clear. My daughter lives here, which makes this a family home. I am the matriarch. For her sake, I am taking my rightful place. This is my house now. You'll learn to live with it. This is my house now." The words hung in the air. The movers looked at their feet, at the ceiling, anywhere but at us. One of them cleared his throat. "Us, sir, ma'am. I think we're going to take a smoke break. Just let us know when you've got this sorted." They practically fled from the room. I didn't shout. I didn't argue. I finally saw the full picture. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was the endgame of Shirley's years-long campaign, and my wife had been her willing accomplice. I turned without another word, walked down the stairs and out my front door. I sat in my car, the engine off, and watched the movers leaning against their truck, smoking. I pulled out my phone. First call, a 24-hour locksmith. I scheduled a complete rekey of all exterior doors for 3 p.m. Second call, my brother, the paralegal. He listened, whistled low, and said, "Don't even breathe without talking to a divorce attorney. I'll send you a name." Third, a text to Brenda. "I'm home. Saw the new decorating. Your mother just informed me this is her house now." Her reply was instantaneous. "Jonathan, wait, don't do anything. I can't explain. Mom's just being dramatic. You know how she is. I'm almost home. We can talk this out." You know how she is. The 4-word excuse for a lifetime of chaos. I waited. When her car pulled up, she got out with takeout bags, a forced, placating smile on her face. It vanished when she saw me sitting in my car. She tapped on the glass. I rolled down the window. "What are you doing out here? Let's go inside. We can't talk on the street." "Is your mother moving her things out of my house?" I asked, my voice devoid of emotion. Her face crumpled. What was I supposed to do? She cried for days. She said she'd rather die than live in some sterile apartment by herself. She promised it would just be for a few months, just until she gets back on her feet. She needs the master bedroom because of her bad back. It was a compromise, Jonathan. A compromise you made with my life and my property, without my consent. I'm going to a hotel. A locksmith is coming at 3 p.m. You and your mother have until then to vacate my house. You can take your things. Your mother can take hers. Leave my keys on the kitchen counter." Her expression hardened, the pleading replaced by her mother's fury. "You're kicking me out? Your wife? Over a bedroom?" "I'm securing my property from a hostile takeover you co-signed," I said. "You have until 3. I started the car and drove away. I didn't look back, I just drove. I am now sitting in a soulless hotel room staring at the wall. My phone has been a constant buzz of texts and calls from her, her father, her aunt. I am, in their words, a cruel, heartless monster. Maybe I am. But I also feel a strange, cold clarity I haven't felt in years. I gave her an out. I gave her a solution. She chose her mother, and now I'm choosing me. Update 1. The dust is starting to settle, and it's uglier than I imagined. Thank you for the messages of support. It's grounding to know I'm not losing my mind. I returned to my house at 3:15 p.m. that Thursday. The locksmith's van was parked outside. Brenda's and Shirley's cars were gone. A mountain of Shirley's junk, the floral armchair, boxes of knickknacks, lamps, was piled haphazardly on the curb. It looked like they'd left in a hurry. Gary the locksmith was a pro. An hour later, I had a new set of keys in my hand. They felt solid, definitive. I walked through the quiet house. It felt violated. They'd taken all of Brenda's things, but Shirley had left a calling card. She'd gone into my office. On the desk I keep my grandfather's watch, an old Omega Seamaster from the 60s. It's not a museum piece, but its sentimental value is immense. The display case was there, but it was empty. In its place sat one of her hideous porcelain dolls, a little sailor with a chipped smile, a trophy, a final, petty act of conquest. The theft of the watch was a calculated move, meant to wound me in a way moving furniture couldn't. I took a photo of the doll in the empty case. I documented everything. Then I sent a single text to Brenda. "Your mother has stolen my grandfather's watch. I have already filed a police report for theft. The case number is 8675309. They informed me that knowingly possessing stolen property is a crime. She has 24 hours to return it before the police follow up." This was a slight exaggeration. I had only filed the report online. I hadn't spoken to an officer yet. But the official number was real. The threat of police involvement was the tool. The blowback was immediate. Shirley, using Brenda's phone, sent me a novel-length text tirade. I was a liar. I was ungrateful. The watch was a piece of junk she'd taken as a down payment for the pain and suffering I'd caused. She was building her own absurd legal case via text message. Brenda called me, sobbing. "They're going to arrest my mother? Jonathan, you can't do this. It's a watch." It stopped being about the watch the second she put her hands on it. It's about a pattern of theft and disrespect you have enabled for years. 24 hours, Brenda. Have her leave it with the concierge at my hotel. No contact. I got a call from her father, Larry, next. He's always been steamrolled by Shirley, a perpetually bewildered man. "Son, you have to be reasonable. You've kicked them out, isn't that enough? You're tearing the family apart. Larry, your wife tried to annex my home. Your daughter helped her. They tore the family apart. I'm just cleaning up the rubble. Tell Shirley to return the watch." The deadline came and went. Nothing. So, the next afternoon, I walked into the local precinct with my phone, showing the text messages from Shirley admitting she had it. The desk sergeant read them, raised an eyebrow, and took my statement seriously. He said the texts established clear intent and that a detective would be assigned the case, though he cautioned me that these things can move slowly. That was enough. 2 hours later, a frantic Brenda called. A detective had left a voicemail for her, referencing the case number and asking for a statement from Shirley. The official gears were turning, even if slowly. "Are you happy now?" she shrieked. "You've sicked the police on a sick old woman." "She's a thief, Brenda. That's not a medical condition." Her voice dropped, filled with a chilling venom I'd never heard before. "You will regret this, Jonathan. I swear to you, I am going to make you regret every second of this." I believe her. I regret that the woman I married is a stranger to me. I regret I didn't have the courage to draw this line years ago. Last night, I took Shirley's ugly armchair from the curb and personally drove it to a donation center. It's a small act, but it felt like an exorcism. I'm taking my house back, one piece at a time. Update 2. The war has moved to a new front. public opinion, and financial warfare. First, the watch reappeared. It was left in a jiffy bag with the front desk at my office, no note. The fear of a larceny charge was enough. I'm having it serviced, just in case Shirley's spite is radioactive. The day after my last post, Brenda and Shirley showed up. I saw them on my Ring camera, ringing the bell, then banging on the door. I sat in my office and watched them on my phone. Shirley was yelling, her words a muffled stream of invective. Brenda was just crying. After 20 minutes, they gave up. A few days later, my brother sent me a link. Brenda had started a GoFundMe. The title was "Help Me and My Mom Escape Abuse." The photo was a carefully staged selfie of them in their hotel room, looking wan and tearful. The description was a work of pure fiction. It claimed I was a volatile alcoholic, I have a glass of wine with dinner maybe twice a week, who in a drunken rage had thrown them out into the night with nothing. She'd set a goal of $10,000 for a safety deposit and legal fees to fight for my rights. She'd already raised nearly $800 from her extended family and friends who didn't know any better. My first instinct was to post a comment, to fight back with the truth. But my lawyer, Stephen, is worth every penny. "Don't," he said. "Don't engage. Just document. We'll use their lies against them at the right time." So I did. I saved screenshots. Then I had my lawyer draft a formal email to Brenda, CCing me. It stated that she had one opportunity to retrieve her personal property on Saturday between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. It specified that her mother was not permitted on the premises and that any deviation would be considered trespassing. It also stated that the entire process would be filmed. This, of course, led to another flurry of texts about how cruel I was, but she agreed. On Saturday, she arrived with her father. Larry looked ashamed, unable to meet my eyes. I had systematically gone through the house and packed everything that was unequivocally hers into boxes and stacked them in the garage. I stood at a distance, my phone recording. She was all business until the end. "Where's the Vitamix and the new OLED TV?" "Brenda, the blender was a housewarming gift from my sister to me when I first bought this place. I have the receipt for the TV dated 1 year before I met you. They are not marital property." "But I used them. We're married. It's our stuff." "No," I said as gently as I could. "It's my stuff that you had use of while we were married. That courtesy has now been rescinded. My lawyer has the paperwork. The divorce is being filed Monday on the grounds of irreconcilable differences. And by the way, that GoFundMe you started? Any funds you collect are considered marital assets you are actively hiding. Intentionally deceiving the court is a very, very bad look." Brenda went white. Larry stepped forward, wringing his hands. "Son, a divorce? Isn't that a bit extreme?" "Extreme was conspiring to steal my home, Larry. This is the logical consequence." They left. By that evening, the GoFundMe page was gone. The latest trick was the most insidious. Shirley somehow got my mother's phone number from an old Christmas card list Brenda had kept. She called her, weeping, telling a heartbreaking story of a daughter abused by a cruel man. My mother, a woman who has tolerated zero nonsense in her 65 years, listened patiently. When Shirley was done, my mom said, "Shirley, I know my son, and I know he owns his house. If you thought you could just take it from him, then you're not just a bad house guest, you're a fool. You have my son's wife with you. Perhaps you should focus on your role in breaking up her marriage instead of trying to poison this well. Do not call me again." Then she hung up. Every move they make, every lie they tell, just adds another page to the file my lawyer is building. They think they're fighting me. They're really just fighting themselves, and they're losing badly. Final update. It's done. The decree is absolute. The house is silent, and it's all mine. The last 6 months have been a masterclass in legal maneuvering and emotional endurance. The divorce proceedings were exactly as ugly as you'd expect. Their big play was for the house. Brenda's lawyer tried to argue for a significant portion of its equity, citing her contributions as a homemaker. They were banking on a judge seeing a poor, discarded wife. They didn't count on my meticulous record-keeping. My lawyer, Stephen, laid it all out in mediation. The premarital deed and mortgage statements, proving sole ownership. The formal offer I had made to rent an apartment for Shirley, proving I had attempted a reasonable solution. The photos from the day of the takeover, the police report for the stolen watch, and Shirley's own incriminating text messages. The screenshots of the fraudulent GoFundMe, which demonstrated bad faith and an attempt to hide assets. Faced with this mountain of evidence, their lawyer's posture changed. The fight for the house was a non-starter. The battle shifted to marital assets. I knew this was coming. We had a car we'd bought together and about $40,000 in a joint savings account. My lawyer advised a strategic move. We can spend a year fighting over every pot and pan, or we can cut the cancer out now. Offer her a settlement to walk away. So we did. We calculated her half of the actual marital assets, the savings and the car's equity, which came to roughly $28,000. My lawyer drafted an offer, a one-time lump sum payment of $30,000. In exchange, she would waive any and all future claims on any other property and agree to an uncontested divorce. She fought it at first. Shirley, I'm sure, was whispering in her ear about getting 6 figures. But her own lawyer, likely realizing he couldn't win with their mountain of bad faith actions, must have told her it was the best deal she would ever see. After a week of bitter silence, she accepted. The final meeting to sign the papers was in a sterile conference room. Brenda looked thin and worn down. The fire in her eyes was gone, replaced by a dull, permanent resentment. Shirley was there, of course, lurking behind her like a malevolent shadow. After signing, Brenda cornered me in the hallway. $30,000? She hissed. That's all I'm worth after 4 years? I looked at her, really looked at her, and felt a profound sadness. This was never about what you were worth, Brenda. It was about what you were willing to throw away. You had a life. You had a home. You chose her. This is the price of that choice. Shirley started to step forward, her mouth opening to spew her usual venom, but Brenda shot her a look of pure exhaustion. Stop, Mom. It's done. It was the first time I'd ever seen a flicker of rebellion in her, and it was 6 months too late. The consequences have been the natural result of their own actions. I didn't have to lift a finger. They burned through the settlement money in 2 months on deposits for a new apartment and paying off debts Shirley had accrued. They live in a cramped 2-bedroom unit in a town an hour away. A mutual acquaintance told my brother that Larry, Brenda's dad, visits rarely, and that the fighting between mother and daughter is constant. Shirley got what she wanted, her daughter all to herself, and now they are trapped in a small space, with Brenda working a second job on weekends to pay the bills her mother runs up. As for me, the silence in my house was deafening at first. I methodically purged every trace of them. I painted the bedroom a calm, quiet gray. I sold the bed we shared and bought a new one. I took my grandfather's watch, my artifact of independence, and it now sits on my nightstand. It's a daily, tangible reminder of what I fought for, my history, my peace, and my home. I'm slowly stitching my life back together. I've reconnected with old friends. I've started hiking again. I sit in my dad's old leather chair in my quiet living room, and I feel stillness. A profound, hard-won peace. I don't wish them ill exactly. I just wish them elsewhere. They are the architects of their own misery, and I am the sole, undisputed owner of my quiet, orderly life. And for that, I am deeply, profoundly grateful. I found a voice recording on my fiancé's phone she'd accidentally left unlocked. Mom, I'm only marrying him for citizenship, then I'm filing for divorce. I sent it to Immigration Services. Her petition was denied and she had to leave the country. My name is Daniel, 29, and I need to get this off my chest because I can't tell anyone in real life. What I did was legal, but I'm not sure if it was right. Met Margaret 3 years ago at a friend's birthday party. She was from Brazil, here on a student visa finishing her MBA. Beautiful, charming, spoke 4 languages. Way out of my league, honestly. But she laughed at my terrible jokes and actually seemed interested when I talked about my boring hobbies. We clicked immediately. Started dating within a month. She met my parents after 6 months. I met hers when they visited from São Paulo. Wealthy family. Her dad owned some tech company. They were polite but distant. Margaret said they were always like that with strangers. Everything felt perfect, too perfect, looking back. She moved in after a year. Started talking about her visa running out after graduation. I offered to help her find a job sponsor, but she said the market was brutal for international students. Then one night, she was crying about having to leave the country, leave me. I proposed 2 months later. She said yes immediately. cried happy tears. Called her mom right there in the restaurant. Her parents suddenly became much friendlier, started calling me son. Her dad even offered to pay for the entire wedding. We filed the initial marriage-based petition, the I-130, so she could adjust her status after we were married. It felt like the right, protective thing to do. Wedding planning consumed our lives. Margaret handled everything with her mom. They'd have hours-long calls in Portuguese. I'd catch snippets sometimes, hear my name mentioned. When I asked, she'd say they were discussing seating arrangements or flowers. 3 weeks before the wedding, Margaret left her phone unlocked on the kitchen counter while she showered. It buzzed with a WhatsApp notification from her mom. I wasn't snooping, just wanted to plug it in to charge. But the message preview said my name, so I looked. The conversation was in Portuguese. I put it through Google Translate. Mom, remember what we discussed? After you get the green card, wait at least 18 months before filing. It looks less suspicious. I know, Mom. It's harder than I thought. He really loves me. That's not your problem. Your father has everything arranged with Anthony's family. They're expecting the wedding announcement next Christmas. I scrolled up. There were voice messages. My hands were shaking as I played one from 2 days ago. Mom, I'm only marrying him for citizenship. Then I'm filing for divorce. Yes, I remember the plan. No, he doesn't suspect anything. He's sweet, but naive. It'll be fine. I forwarded everything to my email, screenshots, voice recordings, all of it. Then I put the phone back exactly where I found it. She came out of the shower, kissed me, asked what I wanted for dinner. I said I wasn't hungry, had a work emergency, drove to a parking lot and sat there for 3 hours, reading and rereading everything. There was more. So much more. How she'd targeted me specifically because I seemed lonely and stable. How her ex-boyfriend Anthony was waiting for her back home, apparently from an even wealthier family her parents wanted to merge businesses with. How she'd been sending him photos from our trips with captions like, "Suffering for our future." The wedding was in 20 days. Deposits paid. Guests flying in. My mom had been crying happy tears for months about finally getting grandchildren. I contacted an immigration lawyer that night. Paid for an emergency consultation. He said marriage fraud was a serious federal crime, that if I went through with the wedding, I'd be on the hook for an affidavit of support for years, and untangling myself from the fraud later would be a nightmare. He confirmed I had the option to withdraw my petition and report the fraud. He told me exactly how to do it. I formally withdrew the I-130 petition I had filed for her and submitted all the evidence to the USCIS fraud tip line. Then I waited. Margaret noticed I was distant, but I blamed work stress. The wedding planning continued. Her dress fittings, cake tastings where she fed me samples and laughed, all while texting Anthony about their real future. About 2 weeks later, a thick envelope from USCIS arrived, addressed to both of us. She opened it at breakfast, went white. Started hyperventilating. It was a notice of intent to deny our petition, citing specific evidence submitted to this office that indicates the beneficiary may be entering the marriage for the primary purpose of evading immigration laws. She looked at me with huge eyes. What do I do? This is a mistake. I shrugged. We should probably talk to a lawyer. We did. Her lawyer was grim. He said the evidence was damning. They could fight it, but it was hopeless. Withdrawing my support and providing direct evidence meant the petition was dead. A week later, the final denial came. The notice also stated that because she was no longer a student and her petition for adjustment of status was denied, her visa was invalid. She was officially out of status. Another letter came a few days after that. This one was from ICE. It gave her 60 days for voluntary departure. Leave on her own terms, or they would initiate formal removal proceedings, which would end with a deportation order and a permanent ban from the U.S. The car ride home from the lawyer's office was silent except for her crying. Back at the apartment, she turned on me. "It was you?" Not a question. "What are you talking about?" They had recordings only from my phone. The notice mentioned evidence from the petitioner. "It was you." I could have denied it, almost did, but I was tired. "Yeah, it was me." She slapped me. Hard. Called me things in Portuguese I didn't need translated. Then she begged. Actually got on her knees. Said she did love me, that it had become real, that we could work through this. Margaret, you literally have a boyfriend waiting for you. I was going to tell him it's over, I swear. I chose you. You chose a green card. She switched tactics, threatened to tell everyone what I did, that I'd ruined her life out of spite. Her family had connections, she said. They'd destroy me. Go ahead, tell everyone you committed immigration fraud. She was on a plane to São Paulo a month later, a week before the deadline. I know because she sent me a photo from the gate with a message. I hope you're happy. My parents won't even look at me. Anthony's family called off everything. You ruined my life. I didn't respond. Update 1. It's been a few months since Margaret left. The wedding venue kept our deposit, obviously. I'm out about $8,000 total. My family. That was rough. Had to tell them the wedding was off, that we'd broken up. My mom cried. My dad said he knew something was off about her. Some of our mutual friends figured out what happened. Margaret told her version that I'd discovered her plan, and instead of just breaking up, I had cruelly chosen to ruin her life. A few of them didn't believe her, but they didn't side with me either. They said I should have just called it off like a normal person, instead of weaponizing the system. I lost some friends over the method, not the reason. The others said they'd noticed red flags. Easy to say, after the fact. My buddy Mark, who introduced us at his party, finally admitted something. Margaret had asked him specifically about me before that night. Wanted to know if I was single, what I did for work, if I was stable. He thought she was interested. Now he feels guilty. I still have all her stuff in boxes. Can't bring myself to throw it out or send it. Her parents contacted me once through a lawyer, demanding I ship everything to Brazil at my expense. I ignored it. Started therapy last week. Therapist asked if I regret it. Honestly, I don't know. I saved myself from a fake marriage and a legal mess, but I keep thinking about her crying, her panic when those letters came. Was there any part of it that was real? Does it matter? What really messes with me is how good she was at it. 3 years. Every day for 3 years, she smiled at me, kissed me, told me she loved me. We had inside jokes. She knew how I liked my coffee. She held my hand at my grandfather's funeral. How do you fake all that? My therapist says it wasn't all fake. That manipulative people often develop real feelings but compartmentalize them. That she probably did care about me, just not enough to change her plan. I want to believe that. It's somehow worse than thinking it was all a lie. Update 2. Posted this update because you won't believe what happened last week. I was in Toronto for a work conference. On my last day, I was killing time in a coffee shop in the Yorkville area when I heard my name. That voice, my stomach dropped to my shoes. Margaret, standing there with a laptop bag and a coffee. She looked different. Thinner. Her designer clothes replaced with a simple sweater and jeans. But still beautiful, still her. Hi Daniel, she said. Margaret, was all I managed. What are you doing here? I live here now, she said. Got a work visa through a program for people with MBAs. It's not the US, but it's a life. My own. Good for you. I deserved what happened. I deserved all of it. Why are you telling me this, Margaret? I owe you an explanation. A real one. I almost left. Should have left. But I'd wanted answers for a year. We sat down. My family isn't broke, she said, which surprised me. They're wealthy, but they're controlling. The marriage to Anthony wasn't about saving them from debt. It was a dynastic plan. Merging his family's old money influence with my father's tech company. I was a business asset. So you used me, I stated. Yes, but not for the reason you think. The American green card, it was my escape plan, my only one. My plan was to marry you, get citizenship, and then disappear. From you, yes, but more importantly, from them. From Anthony. I was terrified of that life. I picked you because you were kind and stable, because I knew you wouldn't see the signs. It was cruel and selfish, and I knew it. Each word was a punch to the gut. But she wasn't done. Then I did something stupid. I fell for you, not part of the plan. My mom was furious when I'd defend you, when I'd say maybe we could make it work for real. She'd remind me about my duty to the family. But you still recorded that message, about only marrying me for citizenship. Her hands tightened on her cup. The day before you found everything, my mom had been on me for hours, said I was getting weak, that I needed to remember my purpose. So I sent that message to shut her up, to prove I was still in control. 20 minutes after I sent it, you came home with flowers. Random Tuesday flowers, just because. I cried myself to sleep that night knowing what I was doing to you. Am I supposed to feel sorry for you? No, God, no. I'm just trying to explain. Not excuse, explain. She told me what happened after. How Anthony's family immediately cut ties when the scandal of a denied U.S. visa petition came out. How her parents blamed her for the failure. How she'd lived with a cousin in São Paulo working a terrible job until she found a lawyer who specialized in Canadian immigration and clawed her way to the life she had now. My life imploded, and I deserved it. But you know what the worst part was? Missing you. Not the visa, not the plan, not the life I thought I'd have. You. Your stupid jokes, the way you hummed in the shower, how you'd bring me tea without me asking. I didn't know what to say. Still don't. You destroying my plan was the best thing that ever happened to me, she said with a bitter laugh. I was going to be a trophy wife controlled by my parents. Now I'm just a mid-level analyst in Toronto. My apartment is tiny, and I'm happier than I've been in years because it's real. It's mine. She stood to leave. I found myself asking, was any of it real? She turned back. The first time you made me laugh, really laugh, not the practiced giggle I'd perfected. I knew I was in trouble. The night your grandfather died, I held you while you cried and wished I could absorb your pain. When you proposed, for about 10 seconds I forgot it was all a lie and just felt happy. So yes, it was real. The love was real. It just wasn't enough to overcome the lie. She left. I sat there for another hour. Update 3. Final update. It's been 2 years since I posted the original story. Thought I should give one last update before I close this chapter for good. After that Toronto encounter, Margaret texted me once. Just said, "Thank you for listening. I won't contact you again. I hope you find someone who deserves you." I didn't reply, but I didn't delete it either. Ran into Mark at a bar last month. He asked, a little sheepishly, if I knew Margaret had landed on her feet in Canada. He'd seen her professional profile online, said she was doing well, got promoted, was dating some architect, normal guy, normal relationship. He saw the look on my face and quickly changed the subject. I'm in therapy twice a month now, working through trust issues, obviously, but also guilt. Because here's the thing, I did the right thing legally, but I still struggle with whether I did the right thing morally. My therapist says both can be true. That protecting yourself doesn't make you a bad person, even if someone else gets hurt. Started dating again 6 months ago. Met someone through a hiking group. Sandra. She's a teacher, born and raised here, 0 immigration complications. She jokes that she's so American, her blood type is apple pie. I told her about Margaret on our 4th date. All of it. Expected her to run. Instead, she said, that must have been incredibly painful, for both of you. We're taking it slow. Very slow. I check myself constantly. Am I being paranoid? Am I punishing Sandra for Margaret's lies? Sometimes I catch myself testing her, looking for inconsistencies. When I realize I'm doing it, I tell her. We talk through it. It's not romantic or exciting. It's work, but it's honest work. My mom still has the wedding dress she bought to wear to my wedding. She can't return it, can't donate it, can't throw it away. It hangs in her closet like a ghost. She doesn't know the real story, thinks we just grew apart. I let her believe that. Some truths don't help anyone. I still have the screenshots on my hard drive, tucked in a folder I never open but can't delete. Evidence of the life I almost had. The life that almost had me. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd never seen that message. Would we be married now? Would she have gone through with her plan? Would I have spent years loving someone who was counting down to leaving? But mostly, I try not to think about it. Because here's what 3 years of deception taught me. People are complicated. Love is complicated. Margaret was simultaneously the woman who used me and the woman who cried in my arms. The woman who targeted me for an escape route and the woman who brought me soup when I was sick. The villain and the victim of her own story. I reported her because I had to protect myself. She was going to commit fraud using my name, my life, my future. But I also did it because I was hurt, angry, betrayed. Both motivations existed at once, twisted together like DNA strands. She's built a real life now, so have I. Neither of us got the future we planned, but maybe we got the ones we needed. To anyone reading this who's been betrayed, who's discovered their life was built on lies, it's okay to protect yourself. It's okay to choose your own safety over someone else's scheme, even if you loved them. Even if part of you still does. And to anyone considering using someone like this, don't. Just don't. The damage goes deeper than you think. For everyone. I'm closing my inbox after this, moving on. Sandra's coming over tonight. We're making dinner together. Nothing fancy, just pasta and salad. Real life. Real boring, beautiful, ordinary life. It's enough. More than enough. It's everything.